champions need to take a decisive victory here today.
We'll have to see, as Aphelios has been banned from Abel. What's he going to play now?
I don't know.
As far as I knew, that's the only champion he's willing to play. He's got 5 games on Aphelios so far this split, and nothing else. So huge, huge target ban coming out from JDG.
Yeah, and now Zeri being left open, no Yuumi on the table, so I'm interested to see if JDG are still just going to end up going towards it. Is still an incredibly powerful pick regardless, but for now, still going over some other options. The Nico, another one, but when you're up against OMG, you really don't need to prioritize first picking that Nico, since they still have shown that they haven't played it.
I feel like the Rakan is basically saying, look, if we take Zeri, you're going to take like Jinx Lulu, right? I feel like it is the answer. And then what do you pair with the Zeri? Whereas the Rakan, you could still kind of like go in different directions, but it does also fit that dominate bot lane style, right? If you're looking for Rakan and Kanavi is going to come down to the bottom side, like having that dive can be fantastic. I will say Zeri does quite well into Rakan. The Nico, first picked here, Cream playing to this meta. This will be his first Nico game.
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious to see if it actually does end up in the hands of Cream, or if OMG have some kind of other shenanigans under their belt, right? We still haven't seen Nico in the jungle. I kind of gave up hope on seeing that. That's still a possibility. Honestly, it might even be a higher chance that Shanji ends up on the pick than Cream in my mind, but you know, we're going to have to wait and see as they do end up locking in the Zeri, knowing they don't have to care about like Zeri Lulu now because support has already been locked in for the side of JDG. So you'd expect the Vi to come out now, and then maybe you also go towards the Annie and just save your AD carry towards second rotation. But, you know, that could leave you getting quite pinched as Jinx, Xayah really being the only, like, meta AD carries left on the table.
I will say, there's an argument here for Lulu AD carry on the side of JDG. Lock that in alongside the Rakan. What's Zeri going to do now? No supports left. Lulu has auto attacks. You can build AD items. It's probably great. Xayah going to actually be the answer. Locked in alongside the Rakan. I'm sure everyone at home is incredibly surprised that Ruler is playing Xayah alongside a Rakan.
Yeah, Ruler. You know, that a solid series last time, but I do remember one completely misclicked ultimate in my mind. Hopefully, Ruler, we don't get any more of those today. As OMG, just leaving support towards second rotation, being more afraid of getting pushed into the second tier of their jungle pool, which kind of surprised me after all the praise I was giving Aki and him being willing to show different looks, but clearly valuing being able to get some heavy set engage with their team composition, make sure Nico can be able to follow into the fold and get all that damage down.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a really solid dive comp so far from OMG, right? Where especially if they've grouped up, like Wukong goes in, the Pot Blossoms in, Zeri just blasting lightning across that whole team as well. Like, I really like the team fight so far from OMG. Similar thing can be said from JDG though, right? Xayah, Rakan, Vi, certainly a lot of ability to start team fights and to finish team fights too. Mid lane is taken off the board though. They got the Nico already for themselves. Ahri and Syndra banned away by the likes of OMG. We'll see where Knight will go next, but Shanji gets his Rumble respect banned from the top lane once again.
And I'm really curious to see where OMG go here with support, just because, we again, these days really don't see Zeri paired with anything else. You always could just throw, you know, generic a Nautilus or whatever alongside her and just have her farm up. That's why I'm curious to see if they would end up going for the Scion here, just trying to make sure they have even more engage to be able to get fights going on their own terms, especially because we know 369 this split has really liked leaning heavily on just being that front line. It seems like that's JDG's read of the meta, not drifting too far out, despite the fact that 369 does have one game on the Jax. I think the Ornn would definitely fit what JDG have been going for much better this split.
I would love to see something like the Janna or the Karma down in the bottom side. We have seen a Karma support this split already. Whether or not you want to play that with a Zeri, we'll have to wait and see. But certainly other enchanters that aren't necessarily meta, but could work in the draft. Knight going to go with the Annie. So JDG very much sticking to the stock and standard. Wait a second. Is it Nico support? Could it be Nico support, Lyric?
And that doesn't seem like it, but it would have been, would have honestly been like less unexpected in my mind than Cream actually pulling out this champion. I'm kind of mind blown. This was our criticism of him coming into this matchup is like, hey, you know, you really aren't playing the meta picks, but now he does. OMG, solid composition. We get an Alistar for, I believe, the second time this split, already having one come out earlier on. And I mean, these drafts just tell us we're going to get huge 5v5s, right? Neither team really indexing into like poke, which we've seen a few times over the past days, or heavily into pick. Sure, there's pick elements in both compositions. I think more heavily in favor of JDG with things like the Vi and the Annie. But both definitely wanting to just set up their 80 carries to be these big powerhouses.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I feel like both supports kind of very similar identities in the way they want to play out the lane as well, where you've kind of got slippery knock-up support versus tanky knock-up support, where both of them going to go in. Both of them have a very similar knock-up ability ultimately, but then Rakan wants to dash back out again, whereas Alistar just wants to stand in the middle and cause a ruckus. We'll see how this one's going to go down. The bottom lane is what I'm keeping my eye on here. Abel and PP God kind of need to step up a bit after what we've been seeing so far this split. The Aphelios taken away from Abel. PP God bringing out an Alistar, which is not something I don't think anyone was expecting to see today. We'll see how they're going to do up against Ruler and missing on, I mean, Xayah Rakan. It's not exactly an untested duo. We'll see if this Zarya is going to work out against it.
Now we know Alistar not the strongest champion in the early game. This might set up JDG's bot lane to find the advantage that we were saying would be their win condition through the series and really just get ahead early on. Because when JDG find a lead, their macro when ahead is just superb to watch, and they can just snowball a game out of control.
I don't know what on earth is going on with that one skin, man. His
I don't
face
either.
looks weird. It's a strange skin. I feel like I'm finally becoming the boomer that everyone's always told me I am, where I don't even know the names of the skins anymore. Like, I've lost track of skin releases at this point. I used to love that stuff, but I just don't even look anymore.
Yeah, and I feel bad saying this because I can't remember the name of the skin line, but I remember looking at one of the recently released skin lines and actually being surprisingly impressed. Because I've kind of been like you, where I've looked at a lot of the newer skins and I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. This is all right, but you know, there's still some hidden gems out there, even if I couldn't tell you which ones. I have no idea.
I feel like Ink Shadow's like, it's like the modern iteration of those really cool ones that came out a while ago. When I say a while ago, probably a decade ago. There was like Nocturne, Kale, and someone else. I think they were called like Judgment or something, but they were like this kind of like Plague Doctor-y, like good and evil aesthetic, where this splash art was all on like parchment with like scribbles on and stuff, and it was like very cool. I can't
sounds
remember
pretty
the
cool.
name of it. But they just kind of discontinued it. The skins weren't really as good as like the concept was. I feel like if they brought that back, because I feel like the mentality now is like skin lines, right, as opposed to cool skins for champions. It's like what can we apply to most champions? That skin line would definitely work. It's super cool. A different game developer has just brought out a game that I'm probably not allowed to mention. It's quite a big developer. It's quite a big game. It's a dungeon crawler, procedurally generated dungeon crawler. I think people might be catching the drift. That's a pretty cool aesthetic. People would buy that. I'd buy that. I'm just saying, Riot, give me a sorcerer skin. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know, but why have that when we could get more of, I don't know, the astronaut skins or the
Star Guardian.
whatever else there. You know, I really want to remember what the name of the skin line was. It had a really cool bard skin, and he looked all mystical, and his little chimes had mustaches.
Huh? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I think it's on PBE right now.
Oh, that would be why I don't remember it, because I haven't seen it.
You know,
cool.
I've been on a mission trying to get on PBE for the past week now for the new TFT set. We haven't gotten there. And you know what, guys? We should probably give you an update. There was a lighting issue on stage reported by Missing. And you know what? We don't want our players to be blinded when they're playing League of Legends. We want them to go in and have great games. So I'm sure right now, you know, the people on stage, we'll give someone the nickname Frankie. And Frankie's figuring it out.
Okay. Thank God for Frankie. Frankie here, saving the day for everyone. And as you can see on the player cams right now, the lights are off. So I'm pretty sure we'll be going back into game shortly. I will be able to kick this one off. It was called Cursed Revenant. That's the skin line it was. Cursed Revenant. And just Google it, because I'm not going to be able to describe it well enough for you, but it looks sick. It's super badass. It was Singed was the third one. Singed is the Plague Doctor. Then you got Kale, who's like kind of the Dark Angel Judgment kind of vibe. It's all very like sort of V for Vendetta aesthetic sort of deal.
I feel like it's one of those ones where the splash art does look a significant amount cooler than they do on the Rift. Still solid on the Rift, but the splash art's 10 of 10.
But think of the technology, Lyric. Think about what they could do with this concept now. And this is basically a skin for the unnamed dungeon crawler game that's just come out that I won't mention. I mean, it's not far. You could pretty much put those units in that game, and they'd fit.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, bring it back, Riot, like, right now. There is no... I feel like you needed to be developing this a year ago, but... yeah, no time like the present. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, League of Legends. Aki, he's on a wild one. He started chickens, and now he's coming down to the bottom side.
Yeah, so going to have it so that camp is able to come up sooner. Maybe can be a little bit more efficient in terms of his clear. Knows he probably shouldn't have too many opportunities around bot side. You are leaning here now. If JDG ever overextended around the level 2 mark, could potentially go for a gank, but... Again, for OMG, for Abel and PB God, they shouldn't have too much pressure early on, even though Ruler and Missing did concede some of that early wave.
Not the greatest trade ever for Shanji, but considering he was level 1, that's actually a much more even trade than I feel it should have been. There's 369 just trying to push his advantage. Might look to crash that wave, but wants to make sure he has a ward down first. Doesn't want to get caught out. Kanavi, pathing up towards that top side. We did mention, like, previously... on JDG. This is not an anime. It's not that kind of previously. But JDG, when they were playing with Zoom, I remember it was like that thing in 2021, 2020 of Kanavi will go for his standard one gank in top lane. Zoom gets an advantage. He's like, okay, Zoom, you're on your own for the rest of the game now. I wonder if he'll go back to that style while he's up in this top side.
My guess is probably not, just considering how what the matchup is, as well as the fact that Kanavi, I think, has been overall less oriented to ganking his lanes in the first 2 series than we even saw it back in spring.
Look at this! Look at the hands on him! It's beautiful! And that's why Zyra Khan's good, ladies and gentlemen. Abel, he's just been rinsed.
Yeah, Ruler and Missing, they end up finding it, flashing forward aggressively. Now a 2v2 topside.
Kanavi just flies into the brush and starts 1v1ing Aki. Shanji 369 moving over to join the play. 369 to target, but gets a knock-up. Flashes out to safety. That's actually just going to be a win for OMG. They got a flash, although Kanavi re-engages. They're still going for this one. Kanavi's in the mix, flashes out himself. The flash forward from Shanji. They're both low, but 369 doesn't have much kill threat. Aki goes in, knocked up, a Q. No, flash from Aki. 4 flashes in the top lane.
And
now
Knight
moving forward to the mid lane. Missing jumps in as well with a knock-up. Knight's low, though. Cream's trying to turn it around. Knight has to back away.
My goodness, bot lane action into top lane action into Missing, roaming towards the mid lane. I don't even know how to go over the state of the map after this because summoners blown everywhere, right? Both top and jungle losing on flashes. We saw Ruler before using his summoners aggressively to find that first kill. Luckily, Cream not having to burn anything in the mid lane. But I love it. Such a drastic difference to the pace of game that we've had recently. We're going to go all the way back here to see what happened down in the bot lane. As you can see, Missing, wanting to angle it, and Ruler finding the root with the feathers, flashing the combo from PP God to guarantee that the first blood comes through.
Yeah, if I'm able, I'm pissed on that one. That did not look like 3 feathers hits him, to be honest. But let's tune into Flash Watch for a second. 50% of the flashes in the game are currently on cooldown. We'll see how that changes things, because certainly a summoner advantage at the bottom side in favor of OMG. And the longsword situation is still actually even, so could be 2v2able. The only issue is you are Zeri and Alistair very early on in the game. I don't know how good that 2v2 is. I don't know if I've ever seen this lane. Alistair alongside Zeri doesn't even sound like it makes sense to me.
I'm kind of on the same page with you, but it might also just be because of how long we've only had, like, Zeri with Yumi, you know, Jinx,
Wait, that's
Aphelios
not a
with
Lulu.
Yeah, like, just for so long now, but at least you're going to have incredible power later on. I feel like OMG should outscale in this game, but who knows, well, especially going up against ornaments, because, like, the ornament items always can be the thing that kind of tilts that into your favor, but JDG also already getting ahead on the scaling games in terms of stacking these dragons very early on.
Yep, great stuff from JDG, finding lane advantages in the bottom side, leading to a Drake. And also just that Annie naturally will have push in a lot of these different lanes. Missing, going real deep on this one to protect Kanavi while he steals away the Gromp. Ruler still going aggressive 2v1 here, is missing. Will return to that bottom lane once again. But it's so hard for Abel and PP God. They're just so zoned away in this bot side.
Not able to do anything. And look at the minimap. I was going to say Knight already hovering down here. We've had Kanavi counter jungling. Aki kind of accepted the cross map. And oh, PP God.
Yeah, that's just going to be Tibbers used to. That's 36 gold. 36 gold for an ultimate. I mean, I think that's worth, honestly. And is he actually going to get a kill here? I don't know why they turned around and went back in on tonight there. As Kanavi comes in and makes it into a kill. Cream is here. He's pretending to be a monkey, but it is in fact monkey business. It's a Pot Blossom onto 2. The root is there. Kanavi underneath the tower, but he's not tanking. Gets a shield and actually walks away. Can Cream follow it up? Can he finish the kill? No, Kanavi queues out. And Cream has to back off. How do they get away with that?
I don't know. So close to being able to go down. It's 369. Call the Forge God.
Ult for ult. Brittle procced. It's a wet noodle fight and a half in the top side.
You know, I quickly realized, like, right as I said called the Forge, I'm like, this ain't going to turn into anything hype. This is Sion versus Oran. This is not escalating any further. But you know what?
Hey,
we can dream.
That was hype. That was hype, okay? Like, that. This is, you've got to lower your expectations of what is hype when you're looking at this kind of matchup and get excited about what you can, okay? So for me, 2 ultimates used? That was insane, dude. That was so sick.
You know what? I'm going to one-up you with your own advice. Anytime either of them proc Grasp from now on, I'm going to lose my mind. We're going to go crazy for the Grasp procs.
It's a big moment in any tank matchup, you know? And Sion, not only Grasp, but his W as well. Think of the scaling, man. If that's not hype,
oh no,
then I don't know what is. PP God is going to be forced to flash underneath the tower. This is look, I know we came into the game and said, Ruler are missing, look real good at the 2v2, Abel and PP God struggling. I didn't expect him to just be outright gapped.
I'm honestly even just surprised at how much Abel and PP God have struggled so much in the first week of play we've had so far. You can see Kanavi wanting to hang around. His ult is almost up. Looks like it's about 11 seconds away. So Abel knowing he has to back off. And hell, even if PP God comes here, I think the dive is still possible. He's only level 4. You don't have ults coming out for the bot laners just yet.
Just imagine being able here. Look at the scoreboard. You're 35 CS down, and this many minions are dying to the tower. Like, there's just no recourse. There's nothing you can do. OMG just sending everyone to the top side here to fight for a Herald instead, as Cream is recalling. And I'm so confused. Wait, can you get your clone to recall now? I did not even know that was a thing. Cream doing some magical stuff. It will be the Herald taken. But at what cost, Lyric? At what cost?
Yeah, at a massive cost. Just, again, more golden experience being lost. Ruler gaining more solo gold, solo experience on the spot side. And now, with JDG even matching tempo and presence around the mid lane, OMG don't have any, like, obvious pivots.
Look at the AD carries. 1,500 gold. It's 9 minutes in the game. That is absolute bonkers.
Hell, even for supports, right? Missing was just under 1,000 gold up. So all of this being on the bot lane, Ruler's going to only get further ahead, taking this start down. First Brit gold over to the side of JDG.
Well, I don't want to call it too soon, but this... no, I'm kidding. Tibbers comes out, double knock up to follow it up, and here comes Vi. Cream will go down. PP God trying to get under the tower. I think Will escape with his life, but that's a very nicely done play there. 3 ultimates used, but a kill taken.
Honestly, probably the most solid, early game JDG has given us so far. And I'm saying that including their LNG game where they were still just dominating in that. But this has not only been like dominant, but they've just purely been in control. Really no missteps coming whatsoever just yet. I'm wondering how OMG's ever going to find an opportunity to drop this Rift Herald. They might even have to wait until JDG just initiate a play on one side of the map and just try to dodge them and go for the cross. But Dragon coming up in 15 seconds. This might just be an easy one for JDG to go for, because Ruler, with all of that gold, already having his first item done by picking up that Kraken Slayer.
I mean, just look at everyone's inventories and then look at Rulers. He's not only got his Kraken Slayer, he's got his boots as well, which boots is, 1,100. That's nothing to sniff at 11 minutes in the game. But, I was freaking out at 1,500. He got a tower since that point. Like, he's about 2,000 gold ahead individually right now over Abel. I mean, you can see the cult for Abel. It was on 40 stacks when Ruler finished his cult. That says everything you need to know. No way that OMG can fight for this Drake. This is a 4,000 gold lead overall. Aki will drop the Herald in the top side, though. So at least they'll get some plates going in the top lane here. Unfortunately, plates going over to the Scion. Not the greatest, but hey, they might get 3 plates off of it. So still good. Still good that they're getting that gold.
Yeah, and 369 just being a bit of a nuisance as it looks like missing, and even Ruler started to hover up, but not going to be able to follow through with that. I even don't mind, like, tanks getting more gold, especially on this patch in this meta, where it feels like there's 2 things that matter. Who has the tankier tank, and then who has the 80 carry that does more DPS? 369?
Who has the 80 carry? The knock-up is not going to happen. Shanji manages to get the kill. Aki trying to slip away under the tower, and, I mean, he'll get away with it. Hex Flash comes out from PP God. I don't know if they want to recommit to this play with Knight here, but looks like OMG get away with it. It's a good little dive coming out from them. Well, not even dive, just catch out, I suppose.
Now JDG might find a catch out of their own.
Abel in trouble. Oh, the flash is a little bit of a whiff, but I don't think it matters here. Abel under the tower, and will be finished off. Kanavi happy to tank that one, as now Ruler will sweep up yet more tower plates.
It wasn't the prettiest, but they got the job done. They're denying more golden experience from Abel. Ruler just stacking up even more. We're going to see now 3,000 gold lead between 80 carries. Over 1K now between Missing and PP God. I sadly didn't have enough time to scan through the other 3 lanes, but that bot lane gap has done wonders for JDG.
Do you know, the funny thing is, he's not even got a kill. Oh no, the double recall cancel. Shanji managing to find magic in that moment. Unfortunately, they can't actually hurt him. So he's just going to walk away, denies the recall, ruins their tempo, and we'll be able to get away with that one. As now the recall will finally come on through. But yeah, 3,000 gold lead without a single kill for Ruler. That is just completely bonkers.
Yeah, it just shows the amount of control they've had, and also, again, how much attention JDG were putting as a team to the bot side, even if it didn't turn into too many kills. Even Kanavi just like cutting the map in half by invading the enemy jungle deep, Knight having cryo in mid and hovering down was quite impressive. And even though Cream hasn't really had an impact in this game just yet, honestly, even the fact that Cream was able to kind of like keep up in laning phase and not look totally out of sorts on the Nico so far has been nice. But when you are on the Nico, when you are on one of the most coveted picks on the patch, he's definitely the player we're looking at to see more from. You were hitting on the combo in draft, right? Like Shanji opening up, Cyclone, into the Pot Blossom, so many big AoE tools to get a fight going. I guess the problem is that JDG, it hasn't really been about fights. It's been finding picks, going for ganks, and really keeping OMG spread out.
Aki might find Knight here. As the rest of the team moving over, Kanavi going to try and save his mid laner, and will do so. He actually goes in for the play onto Aki. This might be a bit too much, but the TP's there from 369 to join the play. Missing arrives too. Knockups galore. Cream goes down, and here comes Ruler to try and find more. Shanji hits the wall, rooted up, and will be finished off. A double kill for 369, which means Ruler still doesn't have a kill.
Ruler still not able to find anything, but my God, OMG. Kind of just walking into that one. Did look a little bit in from Kanavi at first, so I could get while trying to stick around and maybe try to collapse on the Vi. But 369 coming in right in time, and it means now Knight has free time with that turret in the top side. Ruler just going to keep hammering home on this turret in mid lane. JDG have a really nice vision line across the whole map, as we're going to see here Knight getting caught out, walks into Fog of War, manages to get out with the Rocket Belt plus the flash. And here, I thought, Kanavi, what are you doing? You were just full sprinting it. but has backup of 369 and missing. And then we see Cream trying to, I guess, just ultimately get away, tries to run into enable and support his jungler, realizes we're all getting the hell out of dodge, and then just kind of left between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I think maybe trying to get in position to flash the wall, perhaps, but
yeah,
I mean, the CC chain was so disgusting. Just impossible to do anything about it. Knight is not fooled by the clone, but Cream still gets away with his life anyway. Kanavi won't find his window. But Herald taken during that replay. Drake coming up in 50 seconds, which again, the gold lead, pretty much insurmountable at this point for OMG. I feel like they need to think big picture here if they want to come back in. They do have a Zeri on their team. They do certainly have scaling. They certainly have ways to win team fights. So I feel like contesting this next Drake, probably not the play.
No, definitely not. I think this is a time where, again, you're trying to get your defensive vision line set up, collect all the gold you can on the maps, catch your waves, try and make sure you can get as many jungle camps as you can while JDG are distracted doing things like the big neutral objectives like Dragon. But still wanting to be in the area.
Protect this ward, and they're succeeding. They've actually managed to defend that ward, the ward that could.
They have numbers advantage.
Just fighting for. Yeah, that's true. Nice up top, actually. Does have his TP available.
Yeah, Knights up top. We see 369 also pushing in bot. So not feeling really pressured. I mean, hell, they are on 2 Drakes. They're both going to be able to make it in time for a fight. It's 369, but even have a pretty decent angle to open up with Call of the Forge God.
I mean, Knights had time to finish the tower in the top side. Now base, and now can TP into the play. He's going to do it. Behind enemy lines here is missing, goes for the engage. Abel has tried to escape, but Knights behind him. Cream with the Pop Blossom, but Ruler survives. Ruler's untouched, and Ruler's shredding the backline. Abel taken down by the flank from Knight. And JDG, they just show us a masterclass of how to bait the enemy team into a fight.
Yeah. It's like you said, though, I feel like OMG probably should have just tried to live to fight another day. Let's be real, though. This game is pretty insurmountable for them, whether they had gone to try and contest or not. So trying to hope for the best in a desperate situation. Sadly for Abel, his flash had like just come up right as he died in that fight. And Ruler, like you said, left untouched. So now it's going to just turn it into more neutral objectives. Going to see here. It's Abel still doesn't have flash up, so JDG go roaring in. Abel thinks he's escaped, but Knight, like you said, on that flank is going to be huge. And then Ruler with the ult manages to get out of the pit. He's left untouched. And then PB God tries to send him flying, but a big part of the damage has already been done. The Nico has already been taken out. The Zeri already taken down, trying to escape to safety.
All right, well, OMG on the struggle bus. But you know what? I'm not talking about that lyric. I don't want to talk about bad things with OMG because I feel like that's all I've done so far today. I want to talk about good things with JDG because you know what? We came in and we were like, look, JDG got railed by Weibo and it didn't look pretty. And then they came into their second series and it was really back and forth with LNG and ending up looking like the better team, but it was a hard-fought series. Now against OMG, I mean, they look good. They look real good. Pretty much lane dipping in every lane. Fantastic stuff coming out from JDG, and it feels good to see this team. I don't know if I want to say back to full power again yet. This is OMG they're up against. You should expect JDG to be the favorite, but even still, like this is, it just feels good to see these players like playing like you expect them to play when you look at the names on the list. PP God walks away with his life. Featherstorm has been used, but Shanji just can't get close. There's a root as well, forced to flash out, and Knight waiting in the wings. He wants a flank for himself. He's been spotted on a ward, though, as he moves over to the mid lane and sends out the minions. Have been doing a lot of work in the meantime, and the mid tower will go down. Yeah,
JDG just going to be able to keep up the momentum. And going back to what you were saying, I feel like JDG showed between spring regular season to playoffs to MSI that they can have a lot of different looks. Because in regular season, it was mostly about just finding these leads through lane, which then opens up and allows Kanavi to play really in the enemy jungle's face, steal away all their camps. And then, again, their macro and their ahead can just be superb. Their snowballing really just can't be outclassed. And that's when, you know, going into playoffs and then in MSI where it felt like they had to diversify a little bit. You weren't always going to find those leads, but nice to see them able to do it once again once we are back into the regular season. As we're going to see here, a big mess of a play topside. I'm a bit surprised that we're actually getting a replay of all of this, as both teams forced to back off in the end.
Yeah, we get to see Kraken Slayer getting value in the top side as Ruler just dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodging everything that comes his way. And didn't even have to flash. Used the Feather Storm, then used the Gale Force. Still has that flash available. Gale Force will be back up. Feather Storm, I imagine, is back up as well. As OMG now, 4 players and a minion trying to defend in the mid lane. 369, though, just going to walk into them. This might be a little bit much. He is going to be knocked up, but the minion wave protects him. Abel can't auto-attack through that as the ult comes across the team. Cream trying to assassinate Ruler, but he just loses the 1v1 as the rest of the team straight into the meat grinder. Abel's still alive for now, but he just doesn't have the damage, man. He just can't do anything as 369 will find a knock-up. Another double kill for him on the Ornn. Who says he needs a carry to carry?
Yeah, insane performance coming out so far. And I just want to remind everyone, both of these were top 4 teams in Spring. Like, JDG, they found a lead and just completely dominating OMG in this first game. 15-1.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, this is a top 4 matchup. JDG look this good. That is saying something special about this team. This roster feels unstoppable, feels undeniable, as they will finish this game out. Cream just desperately trying to survive on the fountain. Ruler's having none of it, though. Oh, no, he's having a bit of it. He walks over trying to get some attacks in. Featherstorm has to come out, but he'll live. And the Nexus will fall. 16-1, Lyric. 16-1!
Yeah, honestly, insane. And we say this all the time, right? In a matchup with top teams, like, these types of games can just happen, right? You can just have a team, they find a lead, and then since they're both good, you can just end up rolling over the other one. It's not really saying much about OMG's level. The problem for OMG is, again, this has been a consistent theme in the games they've lost about it coming down to bot lane. It has just time and time again been their bot lane falling behind, dying into